The Grant database failure and the database tale from Young Sheldon Season 6 set up the unexpected conclusion of Sheldon traveling to Germany, yet the entire subplot strangely matched a previous Big Bang Theory episode. Sheldon's intellectual achievements and social incompetence were consistently highlighted in both Young Sheldon and the Big Bang Theory, with little attention paid to his professional or academic missteps. Outright failures were less common, even if the Big Bang Theory occasionally highlighted Sheldon's incapacity to continue his research to the point where he changed specializations. Nevertheless, the database plotline in Young Sheldon Season 6 was able to painstakingly revisit one of Sheldon's few Big Bang Theory failures. Sheldon's concept for a Grant database and its creation turned out to be his primary plot point in Young Sheldon Season 6, despite the fact that it was introduced abruptly and in a completely unscientific field. The database subplot got Sheldon where he needed to be in the Young Sheldon Season 6 finale. Despite the database's massive failure owing to users not joining up and its development against all odds, it also marked the beginning of the journey to Germany, whose tales frequently resurfaced in Big Bang Theory. However, with another experiment that Sheldon envisioned, many of the processes in the Grant database tale in Young Sheldon Season 6 were already employed in the Big Bang Theory Season 11. In the same way, Sheldon's idea for an experiment that could support his theory was sparked by a comparatively irrelevant conversation about university mixers being a waste of time in the monetary insufficiency. Episode 22 of Season 11 of The Big Bang Theory. In Young Sheldon Season 6, Sheldon also came up with the concept of a Grant database by idly discussing how a database of comic books might enable collectors to locate their misplaced copies. Even the funding process, though, was comparable, with Sheldon attempting to sell his memorabilia or find private investors for both The Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon. Sheldon's attempts improved, even if his small black hole experiment in The Big Bang Theory failed due to his inability to obtain funding. Although the university had always been Sheldon's initial attempt, neither experiment received funding. Sheldon was unable to part with his priceless trains when he organized a yard sale to raise money for Germany in Young Sheldon Season 6, Episode 20. However, in TBVT Season 11, Episode 22, Sheldon was able to give Stewart a portion of his comic book collection in order to attempt to finance the tiny black hole project on his own, something that his younger self was unable to accomplish in Young Sheldon. Sheldon's experiment wasn't the one he came up with as an adult, despite his growing capacity to tolerate parting with his collectibles and even attempting other means of earning money, such as traveling to Vegas to gamble, by using statistics to guide his decisions. In fact, even though both were shown to be possible, the micro-black hole experiment was simply too costly. Even though Sheldon was more adept at coming up with ideas for funding in Season 11 of The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon was still a teenager when he finished the Grant database project in Season 6 of Young Sheldon. Both projects were effectively failures, with TVBT's micro-black holes experiment not seeing the light of day and Young Sheldon's Grant database not gaining customers who were crucial for the firm that financed Sheldon and Dr. Sturges' project to make money off of it. Despite his youth, Sheldon's plan was sound, and Dr. Sturges' involvement in its development assured private investors that it was a genuine project. Rather, Sheldon's inability to obtain funding in TBD Season 11 was primarily due to the lack of the same assurance, which would have been provided by the significant investment that Sheldon was unable to obtain in any way. The prequel series didn't address teenage Sheldon's scientific failure, which makes sense given that Young Sheldon's database narrative developed so many years after the Big Bang Theory's brief micro-black hole episode. Nevertheless, the two nearly identical tales highlight Young Sheldon's continuity issue. Since there isn't much time left between Season 6 and George's passing, some of the stories that the Big Bang Theory told about Sheldon's early years should have already occurred, but the majority haven't been depicted in Young Sheldon. The Big Bang Theory Season 10, Episode 5, revealed the tragic cause for Sheldon's 3 knocks. It made it clear that Sheldon's failure to confront his father about finding him cheating was one of his greatest regrets, since George passed away shortly after. Young Sheldon, however, avoided bringing up the alleged affair between Brenda and George, not even displaying the Cooper's response when it was revealed. Even if omitting to reveal the life-changing events that created Sheldon is a more shocking error than the two experiments following the same pattern, it still highlights young Sheldon's continuity issue, particularly in light of how The Big Bang Theory introduced the plot.